Remember when fast food was simple? A promise kept, a reliable treat, a quick and easy dinner, a cornerstone of the American road trip. It was the taste of childhood, the fuel for late-night study sessions, the affordable luxury that brought families together for decades. The golden arches, the spinning buckets, and the friendly faces behind the counter were an unshakable part of our cultural landscape, a constant in a rapidly changing world. But the landscape is cracking. The very ground beneath these fast food empires is shaking. Prices that were once a bargain now rival those of a sit-down restaurant. Quality, once a given, is now a gamble. And the competition is fiercer, faster, and smarter than ever before. The meteoric rise of fast casual chains, the tyrannical reign of delivery apps, and a seismic shift in what we, the consumers, demand from our food has created a brutal, unforgiving new reality. Not every giant from yesterday will survive to see tomorrow. We are living through a great fast food reckoning. While some chains are innovating, investing, and thriving, others are clinging desperately to outdated models, drowning in debt, and watching their connection with a new generation of diners evaporate. They are the walking wounded of the restaurant world, and their time is running out. Today, we are counting down the 10 fast food chains that are on the brink of collapse. These are the brands that, if they don't orchestrate a miracle, may not be around to see the end of 2025. This isn't just a story about failing businesses. It's a story about the end of an era for some of America's most recognizable and once beloved names. Number 10. Boston Market. We begin our list with a chain that isn't just on the brink. It's tumbling over the edge in a slow-motion, public spectacle. Boston Market. The name itself, once a symbol of wholesome, home-style meals, now feels like a relic. In the 1990s, they were a revelation. Originally founded as Boston Chicken, they were the go-to, healthy alternative in a world of burgers and fries, pioneering the now ubiquitous concept of the home meal replacement. Families could get a full, satisfying dinner. Rotisserie chicken, real mashed potatoes, sweet corn, mac and cheese, without having to cook. It was a billion-dollar idea. So what went so terribly wrong? It was a death by 1,000 cuts. First, their hero product was democratized. Grocery store chains like Costco and Kroger saw the genius of the rotisserie chicken and began offering them hot, fresh, and at a price Boston Market simply couldn't compete with. Suddenly, their primary draw was available everywhere, for less. Then came the fast casual tsunami. Chains like Panera Bread and Chipotle offered a fresher, more modern and customizable experience that made Boston Market's slow, cafeteria-style line feel hopelessly dated. But the final fatal blow has been a story of catastrophic mismanagement. After being passed through a series of corporate owners, including a strange period under McDonald's, the brand was acquired in 2020 by Engage Brands, a holding company run by investor Jay Pendia. The results have been a masterclass in how to destroy a brand. Since 2023, the headlines have been relentless. Boston Market has been sued by its primary food supplier, US Foods, for over $11 million in unpaid bills. Landlords across the country have filed lawsuits for eviction over unpaid rent. Most damningly, the New Jersey Department of Labor was forced to shut down all locations in the state for multiple labor violations, including over $600,000 in unpaid wages to its employees. From a peak of over 1,200 locations, the chain has collapsed to likely fewer than 20. Reports from the few remaining stores paint a bleak picture of locations running out of chicken, sides, and even basic supplies like plastic forks. For Boston Market, collapse isn't a future possibility, it is a current, ongoing reality. Number 9. Quiznos. At number 9, we have a tragic hero of the fast food world, a brand that innovated, soared to incredible heights, and then crashed and burned in a way that should be taught in business schools. Quiznos. In the early 2000s, Quiznos was unstoppable. They were the edgy, cool, and frankly better-tasting alternative to the Goliath that was Subway. Their secret weapon was a conveyor belt oven that toasted every single sub, unlocking a depth of flavor that a cold-cut sandwich just couldn't match. This, combined with their bizarre and unforgettable Spong Monkeys ad campaign, created a cult-like following. They were expanding at a dizzying pace, and for a brief, shining moment, it seemed like they might actually topple Subway from its throne. The collapse, however, was as swift as it was brutal, and the fatal wound was self-inflicted. The company's business model was built on a foundation of exploiting its own franchisees. Quiznos' corporate structure required store owners to purchase every single item, from meat and cheese to napkins and cleaning supplies, from a single company-owned distributor at prices far above market rates. This meant that even a busy store with lines out the door was often operating at a loss. Franchisees were trapped in a system designed to funnel money from their pockets directly to corporate headquarters. Thousands went bankrupt, buried under debt to the very company they had invested their life savings in. The inevitable happened in 2014 when the parent company filed for bankruptcy. While they've stumbled through several rebranding attempts since, they have never regained their footing. From a global peak of nearly 5,000 restaurants, they now have fewer than 200 in the entire United States. Finding and operating Quiznos today is a genuine challenge. They are a ghost of fast food's past, a powerful cautionary tale about how corporate greed can destroy a beloved brand from the inside out. Their prospects for 2025 are not just dim, they're practically non-existent. Number 8, Steak and Shake. Our 8th entry is a slice of pure Americana that has been fighting for its life for years. Steak and Shake. For over 80 years, it was a cherished institution. The concept, born in 1934, was simple and honest. Founder Gus Belt would grind steaks into burgers right in front of customers to prove their quality. The slogan, "Inside it must be right," became their creed. This, paired with hand-dipped milkshakes and friendly table service in a nostalgic, black and white tiled diner, created an experience that was more than just a meal. But that beloved experience became a financial anchor. A full-service model is slow and requires significant staffing: waiters, cooks, dishwashers, a huge disadvantage against the lean efficiency of modern fast food. At the same time, the brand built its reputation on rock-bottom prices, like the famous 4 for $4 meal. This combination of high labor costs and ultra-low prices created a business model with a razor-thin and eventually negative profit margin. As minimum wages rose, franchisees began to drown in red ink. The crisis culminated in the late 2000s. The parent company, Biglari Holdings, led by the controversial investor Sardar Biglari, temporarily closed hundreds of locations rather than invest in them. After narrowly dodging bankruptcy in 2021 by paying off a massive debt at the last minute, the company is attempting a radical, and some say soul-crushing, pivot. They are converting their remaining restaurants from full-service diners to a counter-service model with self-service kiosks. The goal is to slash labor costs, but in doing so, they are stripping the brand of its core identity and unique charm. It's a desperate gamble to survive, but one that may leave Steak and Shake as just another generic burger joint in a sea of competitors. The fast casual tsunami, the struggles of chains like Boston Market and Steak and Shake, can't be understood without looking at the massive shift that rocked the industry. The rise of fast casual starting in the late 90s and exploding in the 2000s, a new breed of restaurant emerged. Chains like Chipotle, Panera Bread, and Five Guys offered a new value proposition. It wasn't just about being fast and cheap. It was about perceived quality. They used words like fresh, natural, and artisan. They prepared food in front of you, giving a sense of transparency. They offered customization, allowing you to build your meal exactly how you wanted it. And they cultivated a more upscale, comfortable dining environment. Crucially, they convinced customers to pay a premium for this experience. A burrito bowl might cost twice as much as a value meal, but people were willing to pay for what they believed was a better, healthier, and more modern option. This created a squeeze on traditional fast food. On one end, they were being undercut by the extreme value of chains like McDonald's. On the other, they were losing customers to the perceived quality of fast casual. Many of the chains on our list are here today because they got caught in this brutal middle ground. unable to compete on price, and unable to innovate on quality. They were too slow, too stale, and they got left behind. Number 7. Red Robin, caught in the brutal middle ground between fast food and casual dining, is our 7th entry. Red Robin. Their identity was built on being a step up. They were the gourmet burger and brews destination, a place where you could get a big, creative burger with endless steak fries and even a beer. It was a fun, boisterous, family-friendly sit-down experience. But that identity has become a liability. The gourmet burger space has been completely redefined by the fast casual revolution. Chains like Shake Shack, Five Guys, and a host of local craft burger spots offer a product that is perceived as higher quality, hipper, and more authentic. Next to them, Red Robin's burgers, often made from frozen patties, no longer feel so gourmet. At the same time, their price point puts them at a major disadvantage. A family of 4 can easily spend $80 to $100 at Red Robin, placing them firmly in the casual dining category, competing with the likes of Applebee's and Chili's. They are too expensive to compete with McDonald's and too down market to compete with true premium burger joints. Red Robin is suffering from a full-blown identity crisis. Are they a fast food joint or a full-service restaurant? Their attempts to streamline operations and speed up service have only diluted their dining experience. While their prices remain stubbornly high, the company has been battling declining foot traffic for years and has been steadily closing underperforming restaurants. The yum may still be in the jingle, but it's getting harder and harder for customers to justify the cost. Number 6. Long John Silver's, our 6th spot, goes to a brand that feels like it's from another time. A fast food ship lost at sea. Long John Silver's. For a generation, if you wanted fast food seafood, they were the only game in town. The brand, with its nautical theme and menu of deep-fried fish, shrimp, and signature hush puppies, was a unique and beloved niche. But that niche has become a trap. The core menu is a heavy lift in an era where consumers are increasingly health-conscious and looking for lighter, fresher options. The very concept of fried fish fast food feels dated, a relic from a time before we counted calories and worried about trans fats. They have made token efforts to add grilled items, but their brand is inextricably linked to the deep fryer. The competition has also become fierce and has come from unexpected places. Fast casual chains like Rubio's Coastal Grill offer a much fresher, Baja-inspired take on seafood. Even mainstream chains like Popeyes and Culver's now offer fish sandwiches that rival or surpass Long John Silver's in quality. And perhaps most damagingly, the quality of frozen fish products in supermarkets has improved dramatically, making it easy to get a better fish and chips experience at home. From a peak of over 1,400 restaurants, the fleet has shrunk to under 700 and is still contracting. While it retains a certain nostalgic appeal for an older demographic, the brand has utterly failed to connect with younger consumers. Without a fundamental and daring reinvention of its menu and image, Long John Silver's is on a course to sink beneath the waves. The health and wellness revolution. The predicament of Long John Silver's highlights another monumental shift: the health and wellness revolution. Today's consumers are more informed and more demanding about what they put into their bodies than ever before. They want to know where their food comes from. They want options that align with their dietary needs, whether it's low-carb, gluten-free, or plant-based. This has forced the industry to adapt. McDonald's now sells salads. Burger King has the Impossible Whopper. Virtually every major chain has had to add healthier options to its menu to stay relevant. But for some legacy brands, this shift is an existential threat. Their entire identity is built on indulgence and old-fashioned comfort food. The chains that have struggled are the ones that have either ignored this trend or have treated it as an afterthought. A limp, sad salad on the menu isn't enough. The winners in this new era are the brands that have woven health, freshness, and transparency into their DNA. The losers are the ones who are still trying to sell yesterday's meals to today's customer, and they are quickly finding themselves on the wrong side of history. Number 5, Hardee's/Carl's Jr. At number 5, we have a tale of two conjoined twins who are suffering from a shared identity crisis. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Operated by the same parent company, CKE Restaurants, these two brands were once regional powerhouses. Carl's Jr. was a West Coast icon, known for its big, char-broiled burgers, while Hardee's dominated the Southeast and Midwest with its famous made-from-scratch biscuits. In the 2000s, they merged their identities around a single, provocative strategy, selling big, decadent burgers using controversial ads, featuring bikini-clad supermodels. For a while, the shock value marketing worked, but in the age of social media and heightened social awareness, the strategy quickly became dated and cringeworthy. In 2017, the company made a dramatic pivot, abandoning the racy ads and promising a new focus on food quality. The problem is, they never found a compelling new identity to replace the old one. Today, both brands are adrift in the hyper-competitive burger market. They lack the fanatical loyalty of an In-N-Out, the unbeatable value and efficiency of a McDonald's, or the premium, better burger appeal of a Shake Shack. They simply exist in a generic middle ground. Their breakfast business, once a fortress for Hardee's, is under assault from all sides. Franchisees have been vocal about their frustration with a lack of clear corporate direction and a revolving door of marketing campaigns. Unsurprisingly, hundreds of locations have closed over the past 5 years. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. are in a desperate search for a reason to exist in the 21st century, and so far, they haven't found one. The digital divide and the delivery wars, another seismic shift that has created winners and losers, is the technology and delivery revolution. For decades, the fast food model was simple. Customers came to you, either in the dining room or the drive-thru. Then came Domino's. In the 2010s, they invested heavily in technology, rebranding themselves as a tech company that sells pizza. Their innovative app, Pizza Tracker, and streamlined online ordering system made getting a pizza incredibly easy. They conquered the delivery market. Then came the third-party apps, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. Suddenly, every restaurant was a delivery restaurant. But this new convenience came with a heavy price. These apps take a hefty commission, sometimes as much as 30% of the order value, devastating already thin profit margins. Chains were faced with a terrible choice. Either partner with these apps and risk losing money on every order, or refuse and risk becoming invisible to a huge segment of the market. The chains that have struggled the most, like Pizza Hut, were slow to develop their own effective digital platforms and became dependent on these third-party services. The delivery wars have fundamentally altered the economics of the industry, and the chains that failed to build a strong digital fortress are now paying the price. Number 4, Pizza Hut. This brings us directly to a fallen giant at number 4, Pizza Hut. It's hard to overstate just how dominant Pizza Hut once was. For generations, it was the pizza destination. The experience of going to a Pizza Hut, the iconic red roof, the dark, cozy dining rooms with their checkered tablecloths, the thrill of the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet, the personal pan pizzas from the Book It program, is a core childhood memory for millions. But as the world changed, Pizza Hut's greatest strength became its greatest weakness. The pizza market shifted overwhelmingly towards delivery and carryout, and Pizza Hut was left holding the bag on thousands of large, expensive, and increasingly empty dine-in restaurants. While Domino's, their nimble arch-rival, was investing everything into becoming a tech company that sells pizza with a lean, delivery-focused model, Pizza Hut was saddled with the real estate of a bygone era. They were a dine-in dinosaur in a delivery world. They have been playing a painful game of catch-up ever since, closing hundreds upon hundreds of their classic red roof locations in an attempt to pivot. But the damage was done. They lost their technological edge to Domino's, their value perception to brands like Little Caesars, and their quality reputation to a booming market of local artisanal pizzerias. In 2020, their largest U.S. franchisee, NPC International, which operated over 1,200 stores, filed for bankruptcy. Pizza Hut is now fighting a two-front war against both price and quality, and it's a war they appear to be losing. Number 3. Friendly's at number 3, we have a brand that is less on the brink and more of a ghost haunting its own past. Friendly's. For anyone who grew up on the East Coast, The name Friendly's evokes a powerful wave of nostalgia. It was the place for after-school treats, family birthday celebrations, and of course, ice cream. The Jim Dandy Sundae, the watermelon roll, and the signature Fribble milkshake were rites of passage. But nostalgia, as we've seen, is a poor business model. Friendly's was a classic American diner and ice cream parlor that simply failed to evolve. Their menu of burgers, melts, and fried seafood felt frozen in time as consumer tastes shifted towards fresher, more interesting options. Their large full-service restaurants were expensive to staff and maintain, and they were hit hard by the overall decline in the casual family dining sector. The company has been in a state of perpetual crisis for over a decade, filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy not once but twice, first in 2011 and again in 2020. Each bankruptcy has led to massive waves of store closures. From a peak of over 850 restaurants, there are now only about 100 left, a tiny fraction of its former glory, mostly clustered in a few New England states. A new ownership group is trying to breathe life back into the brand, focusing on its core ice cream business and experimenting with smaller, faster formats. But for most of the country, Friendly's is already a memory, a story we tell our kids about what restaurants used to be like. The odds of it ever reclaiming its former status are incredibly long. Number 2. Burger King. This one might be a shock. At number 2 is a brand that is a global icon, a name as recognizable as Coca-Cola. Burger King. How can the home of the Whopper, the number 2 burger chain in the world, be on the verge of collapse? The answer is that the kingdom is rotting from within, at least in its home market of the United States. For the past decade, Burger King has been systematically losing the burger wars to its arch nemesis, McDonald's. While McDonald's has been on a tear, investing billions to modernize its restaurants with digital kiosks and dual-lane drive-thrus, streamlining its menu for speed, and launching viral marketing campaigns like its celebrity meals. Burger King has felt stagnant and lost drive-through any town, and the contrast is stark. The McDonald's is new, clean, and efficient. The Burger King down the street often looks old, tired, and in desperate need of a facelift. Their marketing has been erratic and often bizarre, from the unsettling Creepy King mascot to a constant churn of limited-time offers that fail to generate lasting excitement. They have struggled to define what the Burger King brand stands for in the 21st century beyond simply not being McDonald's. The financial cracks are becoming gaping holes. In the first half of 2023 alone, 2 of Burger King's largest American franchisees, responsible for hundreds of locations, declared bankruptcy, citing soaring food costs, declining foot traffic, and the high cost of required restaurant upgrades. This is a 5-alarm fire. The parent company has announced a massive $400 million Reclaim the Flame investment to try and turn the ship around. But they are years behind their main competitor. While the Burger King brand will survive globally, its American footprint is in serious jeopardy. A major collapse of its franchisee network in the US is no longer an abstract risk. It's a clear and present danger. Number 1, Subway. And our number 1 fast food chain on the brink of collapse in 2025 is the biggest of them all, both in stature and in vulnerability. Subway. With more locations in the US than any other restaurant chain, putting Subway at the top of this list seems counterintuitive. But its immense size is not a sign of strength. It is the very source of its crisis. Subway's entire history was built on one guiding principle: relentless, explosive growth. The company made it incredibly cheap and easy for anyone to open a franchise. This led to an unprecedented level of market saturation. Subways popped up everywhere, in every strip mall, every gas station, every Walmart, every small town. At its peak, there were over 27,000 locations in the US alone. But this strategy of hypersaturation became a poison pill. Stores were opened so close to each other that they began to steal each other's customers, a process known as cannibalization. Franchisees saw their sales and profits plummet as they were forced to compete with another Subway just down the block. At the same time, the brand's core message of "Eat Fresh" started to ring hollow. The rise of new premium sandwich chains like Jersey Mike's, which slices its meats and cheeses to order, And Firehouse Subs, with its hot, hearty subs, made Subway's pre-sliced ingredients and standardized process feel outdated and less than fresh. Then came the devastating brand crises, including a lawsuit questioning the authenticity of its tuna and the horrifying scandal involving its longtime spokesman, Jared Fogle, which permanently tarnished its wholesome, family-friendly image. The result has been a slow-motion collapse that has been happening for nearly a decade. Since 2015, Subway has been closing more stores than it opens. Every single year, they have shuttered over 6,000 domestic locations, an astonishing retreat. Franchisee morale is at an all-time low. The company was recently sold to the private equity firm Rourke Capital for a staggering $9.6 billion. And the new owners are now tasked with the monumental challenge of turning around a ship that has been taking on water for years. They are attempting a massive overhaul with new menu items and store remodels. But the fundamental problems, brand fatigue, intense competition, and a fractured relationship with its franchisees. Our immense Subway is a giant teetering on a crumbling foundation. 2025 will be a make-or-break year to see if the new ownership can stop the bleeding, or if the world's largest fast food chain will continue its historic, unprecedented decline. Conclusion. The stories of these 10 chains are a powerful reminder that in the fast-paced world of consumer tastes, no empire is forever. The brands that are failing are not just unlucky, they are victims of their own inability to adapt. They clung to old menus, old business models, and old ideas for too long, while the world around them changed. We, the customers, have changed. We demand more. We want better quality, more transparency, and an experience that feels modern and relevant. The chains that are thriving are the ones that have listened to that demand and have fearlessly reinvented themselves. The fall of these once mighty giants is a story of creative destruction. It's a natural and necessary part of a healthy market. But for the millions who grew up with these brands, it is also the end of an era. The fast food landscape of tomorrow will be leaner, more innovative, and, for these 10 chains, potentially a memory. Which fast food chain do you think is in the most trouble? Are there any on this list that you would be sad to see go? We want to hear your story in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into the business of fast food fascinating, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis, and share it with your friends in an industry this competitive. It's crucial to understand which giants are about to fall.